Welcome back, guys. Today's topic is a pretty cool topic, and it's a pretty cool question one of you guys asked in the comments. And it's something that went through my mind when I first started practicing magic. So, if I look a little sunburned, it's because I've been car detailing today, so I think my forehead definitely got burned. No matter what, I always get my nose and forehead burned. Anyway. um, the question was this. The question is, if working with spirits and demons and angels and doing all the stuff that people in the occult do is so lucrative, if it's so beneficial, why aren't we seeing people filthy rich with a harem of women living in a 3-story house with their own servants? So I think that this is kind of a two-part situation. There's two things going on there in that question. So if we're going to talk about how spirits affect us, one of the things we have to understand is you're expecting beings that are not physical to affect the physical dimension on your behalf. So how does that work? Well, essentially the Goetia demons, at least to my knowledge, are thought demons. They operate by thoughts. So what happens is, let's say that you are in a position where you're applying for a job and you have no chance in hell of getting this job, this promotion. You don't have qualifications, you don't have your certificates, your degrees, but despite that, you call upon something or someone to give you a little help with this matter. The spirit will go forth and convince everyone in that scenario that you're worthy of that job if you succeed. If you succeed in properly binding and creating that relationship with the spirit, whether you bind spirits or you just ask them for the favor. It all depends on your method. So to answer this question is really difficult because S. Connolly talked about this a lot in some of her books. I remember her saying something like, everybody has different needs. So if you're homeless and you start using the Goetia to help you get out of that situation, and suddenly you acquire a roof over your head because someone offers you a bedroom, or someone comes off the street and says, look, I know it's not much, but here's enough for 5 days in a hotel, then you've succeeded. Okay? The question you need to ask yourself is, what would the spirits get on their behalf out of making you famous and filthy rich and giving you all these things that you desire? What's in it for them? Why would they even want to help us? What's their end game? The end game is this. If you notice what's going on in our society, we're moving very rapidly, technology-wise. The fact that we're even starting to talk about aliens and things like that now is becoming really quite shocking that we're actually having these conversations. We're seeing in the news now, literally, spaceships in the sky. They look like spaceships anyway. So, technology. If you think about it, I'm shooting this video on a phone. A fucking little phone. And you look at the quality of this photo, of this video, it's pretty damn nice. Okay? So, how is it that we went from a camera that was probably around this big to now something that's this big? Or smaller? It's because technology has sped up. The question is, where are we getting this technology? And how is it that we're suddenly discovering all these things? And honestly, I think it has a lot to do with people in high places still keeping secret the fact that they practice occultism. Because before we knew anything at all about science, there were people out there reaching out to the spirits, and those spirits taught us everything that we needed to know to grow as human beings. Why do you think in the story in the book of Enoch, Azazel came down and he taught women how to beautify by teaching them makeup? He taught how to make weapons for war technology, the art of seduction, manipulation. These are things that have been handed down by the spirits. Okay? So how are we going from when I was a kid watching a TV with a back on it that's like 3 feet long to now something that's this thin? It's because that information is being funneled through magicians out into our society. And they may not even realize it, that you might have someone that's studying physics or electronics or technology, and they may be getting these downloads and making these connections while they're reading this material and not even realize that it's spirits that's actually putting those thoughts in their head, that's giving them those ideas. So what's in it for the spirits? They want to see us evolve. They want to see us go from being on our knees begging for mercy and worship to standing up on our own feet and becoming like gods. I say like gods because no one is God, but you can get very close and be like a god or a god. So anyway, that's a really powerful question, because the reason that I work with the Goetian now, in the beginning, it was for money. It was for having better relationships. It was for manipulating the situation around me so that I would be more successful. But that's not what I use it for now. The real, true treasure, the true gifts that we get from working with spirits is in fact secret knowledge. So it's not money. It's not fulfilling every whack desire we have. You know, it's not about that. If you're calling upon an ancient god because you need to pay your electric bill, then you've already missed the boat, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing those things from time to time. We all have to ask for help. We all pray and beg for mercy at some point when we're desperate. But I'm just saying, in the context of using spirits, if you're going into it purely to ask for material things, you're missing the boat. And what the spirits can do for you is change you alchemically, your soul, and make you into a person who can succeed. They can work on you in your spirit body and make you more successful. They can make you more charismatic. They can make it where you're more convincing. They can make it where normally when people would see your flaws, that those flaws are invisible to them now. They can make you, in the most subtle ways, more powerful. And the reason why this is such a big deal is because it's not spelled out in the books. It's not spelled out in the literature. You know, EA and his crew, they touch upon all this stuff pretty good. I don't have the money to buy their material, but I watch the videos and I keep up a lot with the Bog group, and I have a lot of respect for them. But guys, it's not all about wealth. I'm just going to show you something right here. I don't know if you can see this, but you know, I got 12 electric guitars. Jesus Christ, what did I turn so red for all of a sudden? It's weird. I started out very desperate, living month to month. Now I have my own business that I do on the side. I have an excellent full-time job. I've succeeded in my endeavors by my will and the help of the spirits. Nothing is given. There are certain situations where spirits will jump in and they will reward you with some really hardcore stuff. But the most valuable rewards that I've got from the spirits were not the monetary rewards. It was everything else. You know, there's a certain wisdom and just power that you start to understand so much more about yourself, who you are, in the world we're living in, and what we're trying to affect. You know, so to answer the question, well, I don't really see, because the comment was like, well, if this shit really works, then why don't I see people riding around in fucking Lambo? You know, it's kind of like, why aren't you riding in a Lambo and living in a mansion? Well, if I went from bottom of the barrel to now living in a 3-bedroom house, having 12 electric guitars, driving a nice sports car, which I do, I think it would be pretty stupid in my part to not say the spirits had something to do with that, because I do not have a college education. I graduated from high school. I took some other courses. My training was in music. I never used any of that. I have a totally different profession. And you just can't look at it from purely monetary perspective. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed. I used to be scared to death of public speaking. I'm talking petrified. Like, if I got up in front of a group of more than 5 people, my mouth would get dry. I wouldn't be able to speak. I would lock up. I would basically have a meltdown. I would literally not be able to speak. I would become that petrified of a crowd of people. That is gone. It's just gone. I could get up in front of a crowd of 5,000 now and speak on a microphone. As before, I would have killed me to do it. I would actually welcome it and enjoy doing it. And that's the big thing, is that now I enjoy doing it. Now, how did I go from being afraid to take a college course like speech, because I would have to get up in front of 30 people and talk, to now being like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. I'll be the one that talks. I'll fucking demonstrate this product or whatever. It's a big fucking deal if you think about it, because that means a major fear of mine was conquered. And because of that, now I'm in a position where I am better off. So they're not genies in a bottle. I mean, I've had things happen, like I've had money literally blow into my path as I was walking with a friend. Dollar bills, $10 bills. Open up a door, look down, there's a $20 bill laying on the ground. That's whenever I was going purely for money. The thing is, you need to concentrate on what it is you need to do to change to make you successful. You need to work on the things you need to do in magic to make you more powerful via meditation, all your invocations, and having knowledge about things like herbs and astrological stuff, and just understanding astrology and understanding how the planets work and everything. The more you know and the more you want to know, the more powerful you're going to become, because you're going to put that stuff into application. I remember the first time I read Aleister Crowley's pentagram ritual in a book, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Now when I read it, it's like I already know that information. I know that sounds really weird, but it's almost like some part of my brain was clicked open, and now when I read something that I would have never understood before, somehow now I have that comprehension. So I know it's not a really clear-cut answer, guys, but if you're asking yourself, okay, show me the magicians who are successful, I can think of a lot of magicians that are successful that you probably don't even realize are magicians. I'm going to tell you one, and it's going to shock you, but if you think about it, you're going to know. This guy's a musician who's passed away in the last couple of years. His name was Prince. We all know who Prince is. He's a legend. Do you remember when Prince turned his name into a symbol? He actually turned his name into a sigil and stopped calling himself Prince. Why did he do that? What was the reason behind that? It's a stupid example, but it's true. Prince, if you look at all of his symbols, everything he stood for, he often would show stuff related to the third eye. He was a very spiritual person, a very unique human being, incredibly talented, a guitar player that's underrated like you wouldn't believe, a bad motherfucker on every level. Now, You would probably not think of Prince going into a room, a ritual chamber, putting on a black robe and asking Beelzebub for help. And I don't know if he did that or not, but what I'm saying is he was a magical being who already had these talents, and he understood occultism. When he changed his name to a symbol, there was a reason behind that. It was to promote himself and make him more successful. Okay? You see people all the time when their logos represent something. Every single company has a logo. And it's usually an ancient goddess or god, and these symbols are always esoteric. And I'll give you an example. If you look at the Starbucks thing, it's a mermaid. But most importantly, that mermaid is a reflection of a goddess called Yamaya. So every time you drink Starbucks, Yamaya is on the cup. They don't call her that, but she is the goddess of the sea. She's like the mermaid god of the sea. Especially in Santeria, they worship her as the god. She's the female god of Santeria. It's on the fucking Starbucks cups. It's on their logos. It's part of their business. And one of the things that people don't understand is occultism is weaved into our society. No one puts reverse pentagrams on their fucking business card because no one will give them a call unless it's a fellow practitioner who understands the symbol. That's just one example. I can tell you about half a dozen musicians who come to my mind, who I know for a fact have used occultism for them to be successful. I'll even go as far as to say that our politicians are into the occult, because when you study the WikiLeaks emails, there is stuff in there about Hillary Clinton making a comment about making a sacrifice to Moloch. Well, why the fuck would you joke around about something like that? Why would she even be talking about Moloch? Unless she was practicing magic or had some knowledge of it. Okay? Let's not be ridiculous here. These people are not exactly God-fearing Christian saints. These are some dark fucking people. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone like that did sacrifice a fucking kid to Moloch. Okay? And no judgment from me. Your path is your path. If you think you need to commit murder for you to feel satisfied, that's on you. That's a risk you're taking. I don't fucking advise it. I don't advise killing animals. I don't advise sacrificing other people. I don't advise sacrificing yourself to a huge degree. I think that you need to be rational. Okay? But long story short, I wanted to make this video rant because I kept thinking about it for days after whoever it was that made that comment. I want to thank you for making that comment. That what's the point? Why do we do this? There's a lot of reasons that go beyond the material. Look at all the book authors who write about the occult. I mean, I counted my books yesterday. I have 85 fucking books, and there's 2 more in the mail. I'm approaching 100 books. All right? Someone's getting rich off of me and my obsession with knowledge. You think the people that publish books are poor? No, they're not. Okay? So the whole thing is, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, you have to have a lot of faith in yourself, in your system, and in your beliefs to make any religious system work. It takes work. And you have to do something physically in order for something spiritually to manifest. But without their help, I will tell you, I could not have got where I'm at. And even if I was to lose everything today and go back down to ground zero, I know I will come right back up and be even higher up than I was before. Spiritually, financially, everything. I have a sense of protection that I've never had before, from working with the archangels, from having these conversations with spirits. There's so much more that the spirits can teach you and give you than just a bunch of fucking stuff. If you want to do magics to get a fucking sports car, then you're probably going to get your sports car, but that's probably all you're going to get. And it's probably going to be short-lived. Okay? Because one thing I know for a fact, stuff doesn't make people happy. It's a distraction from ourselves. It's a fucking distraction, guys. Houses, cars, money, even being famous. People that want to be famous, they get famous, then they fucking hate it because now they have no privacy. And they, some of the things that we think are a blessing aren't exactly a blessing, they're a curse. I know a lot of people in power, powerful people, that truly don't realize that they are being helped by spirits to be where they're at. But because they are completely disconnected from themselves spiritually, they just think they're badasses on their own. They're not. There's a lot of people who have been helped by spirits to get where they're at because it was part of their destiny. It was part of a plan that they're not supposed to understand. These goetic spirits have a fucking agenda that goes way beyond our little petty needs. And if you're involved in this, it's because they're calling you into their lives as eternal beings to teach you a lesson with hopes that you'll actually walk away from it being someone like King Solomon. That old story we always know, we've read it over and over. We know exactly what we want to be. One of the highest things you can become in magic is to become like a sage and to become saint-wise in your practices. And I guess what I mean by that is once you've gotten to a certain level, there's a certain level there where you stop worrying about all the bullshit you used to worry about because you walk with the spirits. You don't have this shit, I gotta pay my rent, I better go call up Prince Ball and see if he can fucking help me out. No, dude. If you're still living like that, you are not even close to being adept. It takes time. I've been there, I've done that. It's a dark place to be. Living month to month, living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, with no hope in sight for anyone or anything. Then one day, I couldn't take any more, and I said, that's it. I'm going to start doing magic full time. Even these bookcases that I just recently acquired, I got them for free. I was saying to a loved one, God, I wish I had nice bookshelves to put all my expensive books in. And a week later, I had 2 book fucking shelves delivered to my house. So if the spirits are not doing anything for me, then I guess this is a really fun way to delude myself into thinking that they are. Because I went from having nothing, struggling for everything, relationship struggles, money struggles, job struggles, work struggles, not getting any respect from anyone or anything, no matter how fucking hard I tried. And really feeling abandoned by God, which is a horrible feeling to have. But now, I look around and I go, shit, they're fucking real. And I owe so much. I mean, this is why my body is now you can't see my tattoos when I do that. It's a canvas for these spirit sigils and for my dedication to magic, and it's a way of me saying thank you and to dedicate myself to these spirits, because even if I never did magic ever again, I want there to be something on me permanently that says, I acknowledge you, I thank you, and you got me where I need to be. So for the rest of my life, I'm going to make sure that I remember who helped me. Dark blessings, my friends. I think you know what I'm getting at.